It is 20 degrees. We're at 7:43 at KNEB. No markets today because of the MLK holiday. News Extra is next and brought to you by Gearing Civic Center. Here's Kevin.
Thank you, Dennis, and good morning, everyone. Our guest today on News Extra are Debi Fitts, and she is the new director of the Capstone Child Advocacy Center. And Captain Brian Wasson from the Scottsbluff Police Department is here as well to talk about child neglect, child abuse, and some of the things that Capstone is trying to prevent. So first of all, welcome. Appreciate having you, Debi. And appreciate also having the captain in with you. I guess first of all, for people that don't know about you, I did a story. I know the newspaper did a story over the weekend. But let's, I guess, first of all, kind of tell us your biography a little bit and how you got this job as Capstone director.
I got lucky.
You got lucky, huh? You interviewed well, right?
Well, I've got a great board to work with, and I'm real lucky to be here. Grew up in the area all my life, worked with families, children, last 20 years in nonprofit, so I feel like hopefully I can bring some skills and abilities to be able to not only help kids, but work in training and prevention.
Yeah. You worked at St. Joseph's Children's Hospital for quite a time.
Yes, I did. I was the grant writer there, and when you see children that have been abused and dealing with it all their life, then really makes you want to get involved in some prevention, more prevention. Yeah,
and so that's one of the things I know Joy did a great job at the Capstone Child Advocacy Center. I think a lot more people are aware of what's going on in this community because of the efforts of not only the police, like Captain Wasson, but also what Joy did. But you'd like to see maybe a little more effort toward hopefully preventing child abuse, child neglect before it even happens, maybe, huh?
Right. I mean, we definitely help the kids interview, stop the abuse, but everybody can do a little bit more for prevention, reporting. But I'd like to see us try to do more before it happens.
Yeah. You guys had a pretty good, you had a pretty serious rise in the number of interviews you did over the last year, right?
Yes, it's up 145 cases. They interviewed 393 in 2011, so that's up 62%.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. 62%. So maybe hand it over to Captain. When you hear those figures, is that doesn't necessarily mean maybe there's more than there was? It just maybe means more people are reporting it. Was that what the deal is?
That'd be great to believe that child abuse is not on the increase. No doubt, with difficult times, we see an increase in all crimes. But I think education to the community, identification, recognition of what's going on, and reporting that has caused for some of this increase. No doubt as well, we in law enforcement and the health and human service workers that work so closely with us, we start to interview siblings of others as well, that increases those numbers because oftentimes they've witnessed things occurring. Several things that attribute the increase in numbers, and I think they're all positive things. We have great people that work with us at Capstone. I wear kind of two hats here this morning as the board chair, but the community that deals with child abuse and neglect is a great one in our community, very professional, and I think their efforts are doing good things, and no doubt having a facility to do those things, Capstone, is why we're here today.
Yeah, you have to feel as if Capstone is really, Capstone hasn't been around here all that long. I think, what has it been, half a dozen years, something like that? 13 years? Oh, okay.
13 years.
All right, so it's been a while.
And, yeah, and it's grown. There's locations now, 3 satellite locations throughout Capstone. The Child Advocacy Center in Scottsbluff handles all the cases in the Panhandle. And to provide I shouldn't say handles them, we are responsible for providing a location, a venue for these interviews, these very critical interviews. And to better do that, one of Joy's great accomplishments, who will be missed, was to get those locations all up and running. They're working now. We got law enforcement and interviewers in those communities, caseworkers in those communities that do exactly what's going on here at different levels now.
Yeah, we have an interview center in Alliance, Sydney, and Shattuck.
Yes.
So yeah, those interview centers make it a little easier, I would think. That those interviews don't necessarily have to be done down here.
Right. It helps the children and the families that are being served. They were half of the drive. If you had a case in Rushville, 2 hours to get here, 2 hours to get home. Setting all that up was further trauma to the child, and unnecessary, really.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a break. Be right back right after this 30-second timeout.
With vibrant history and premier facilities, and the Gearing Civic Center is the
All right.
ideal location for reunions.
So 67% neglect. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit,
And catering by the meat shop, your reunion will be spectacular.
and maybe
Call West Nebraska's premier
what you've
multifunctional
kind of seen in
facility at 436-6888
your first 3 weeks.
or
First
visit us
what?
at
3 weeks is it? You've been on the job?
GearingCivicCenter.com.
2 weeks? Almost 2.5
Gearing
weeks.
Civic Center, where winners meet.
We are back on News Extra. We're talking with Debi Fitts, the new Capstone Child Advocacy Director, and Captain Brian Wasson. And Debi's been on the job now for about 3 weeks, or just short of it anyway. What have you found in the first 3 weeks? Is the job pretty much what you expected?
No. It's a lot more than
A
what
lot
I
more
expected.
than what you expected?
A lot more. They're involved in a lot of area committees, a lot of programs. They keep very busy. I think we need to get all of us roller skates.
Yeah.
But I've found it's great people to work with. Scottsbluff PD, Gearing PD, State Patrol, HHS. Really a lot of great people to work with. Have a great staff. They've helped me with my 4 million questions, and state chapter people, so a lot of great people.
Yeah. And then, of course, you guys are hoping to have your new building up and going here before too long, right?
Yes, they're working on bids right now and going to be awarding them soon. And so, yeah, I walked through the building the other day. It looks pretty empty,
It's very empty.
but I think it's going to be a great building.
Yeah, that'll be over in Gearing.
Yes.
And so it'll be nice to have a new building, because the one you have now is pretty crowded. I mean, there isn't much room there, is there?
Well, it's a lot of room, but it's an old building. It's pretty big, but old and shared space. So it'll be nice to be, I don't know.
Yeah.
One of the desires of the board for the new location is its geography. It's located right next to HHS, a block away from the courthouse. So we're hoping that it'll allow for some more interaction between those 3 areas, really, and more convenient interaction. It doesn't help Scottsbluff Police Department out, because we're going to be traveling to Gearing to do the interviews now instead of Scottsbluff, but that's a small price to pay for what's going on there. I would also say that Debi was thrown to the fire a little bit. We had hoped to have a transition period and allowed Joy to teach her some things, and just because of the way the timelines fell in, we weren't able to do that. So the board is very pleased with Debi's hitting the ground running, and the efforts that she's made thus far.
Yeah.
Very good.
You mentioned when we were talking outside, when you look at these 393 interviews that you did and all the cases that you guys get, and you now have a special officer that deals with these type of cases. these
we
reports,
don't yet.
right?
We don't yet. We're working.
You're
in
working
that
on
direction.
working toward that. A lot of these are neglect cases more than abuse cases, or
It's been a while since I've quantified the number of cases actually referred to our department, but it's probably between 500 and 600 a year. So the 393 that we're talking about is the number of interviews done at the center, and that could be from 2/3 of that number of cases and multiple siblings. But by and large, the number of reports that come to the Scottsbluff Police Department, I would imagine it's similar to all the law enforcement agencies, are neglect-based, require an investigation to determine whether or not there's a need to interview children forensically, and things like that.
yeah. Okay. Well, welcome to the new position.
Thank you.
All right. Look forward to hearing more. And unfortunately, it's a subject that gets more and more publicity all the time. So hopefully, maybe that'll die down, or maybe people will just be just better at reporting it, I guess. Because I know I've talked about it a lot here, especially in the last 6 months.
I encourage everyone, if they have an opportunity, to go to a Darkness to Light training. It's a sexual abuse reporting training, and it's a great training. I encourage everyone to do that.
All right. They can get a hold of you at, if they want to take part in that,
632-7274.
7274. All right. Will do.
All right, thank you
All
for
right.
having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Back to you, Dan.